Hey there, welcome to The Empowered Edge, the podcast that gives you nutrition, mindset, and habit building strategies that actually work. I'm your host, Jenna Hostetler, registered dietitian, certified neurocoach, and your go-to guide to break free from burnout, cut through the health noise, and reclaim control of your body and brain. Each week, you'll get practical, science-backed strategies so you can stop second-guessing yourself, sharpen your focus, and finally feel like the woman who leads her life, not just survives it. What if I told you there's an 80% chance that you have a food addiction? Would you believe it? On today's episode, I finish up the conversation with Dr. Ifland, and according to her information, pretty much every single American has some degree of a food addiction. But I'll let you decide. Let's dive in. So my question is, though, things like flour, things like excessive fat, things like stevia. If somebody is not addicted to food, can those pose a problem? Or is it okay to eat flour for the average person who just needs to lose some weight?
What I heard you say is for the person who's not addicted to food, it's too late for that. There are very, very few. So I'll give you an example, and then I'll give you the numbers and the research. I had a prepared meal company at one point, and this would have been 10 years ago. And we were serving a high-end law firm in downtown Houston. And some of them just needed a convenient, healthy meal. Well, I would talk to them. So the way the service worked is they got all their meals for the week. And I talked to them on Friday, and they would be, Joan, really weird things are happening. Like, I am not thinking about food. And then they'd say, like, I don't seem to have cravings. I'm not having my mid-afternoon slump. So do you think that's about the food? Like, oh my gosh, those are signs of withdrawal. So with these very high-end lawyers, this is cream of the crop of the law schools. It's even there. And the evidence does back this up. So if you want to run through the 11 diagnostic criteria for addiction, we can talk about the kinds of evidence that show that most people have 6 or more of the signs of addiction to processed foods.
Yeah, please do, because that blows my mind.
Yes. Okay, so criteria number 1, unintended use. You wake up with a plan that you're not going to, that you're going to be good, eating good, and by 10 o'clock you're in front of the vending machines. Or you're going to drive straight home and not stop anywhere, and you stop. Or you're going to open a package, you're only going to eat a few, and you look down and you just have an empty container after a few minutes. So unintended use is very common. 83% of Americans are overweight or obese. They didn't intend to get that way. So I'm going to present 6 criteria that are present in 80% or more of the population. Failure to cut back. We have evidence that everyone who loses weight within 3 years has started to regain it. Even people who have bariatric surgery, the effects wear off over time. They can either not lose the weight in the first place or regain the weight within 10 years. That's 100% of people who lose weight start to regain it. So that's failure to cut back. You have cravings. Cravings correlate with BMI. So people in the 83% of the country who are overweight or obese, they have cravings. So are we up to 3? We're up to 3. Use in spite of consequences. 93% of Americans have high triglycerides, high cholesterol, high blood glucose, high blood pressure, or a high waist to hip ratio. 93%. So now we're up to 4. Tolerance. Tolerance is when you're using more and more of a substance over time. And we have evidence that the percentage of processed foods that people are eating across the whole population increases over time. Today, Americans are eating 73% of their calories in these highly addictive, destructive processed foods. So that's 5. And number 6 is withdrawal. So we do have some evidence for a withdrawal syndrome, which is just a huge hallmark of an addiction. Headache, lethargy, depression, fatigue, brain fog. Those are all rampant in our culture. So that's over 80%. That's evidence that over 80% of the country not just has the addiction, but has it severely. And that means that 18% of the country have the addiction, but to a lesser degree. They wouldn't have all 6 of those. They would have 5 or 4 or 3 or 2. This is over. This is over. I hope everybody in your listening audience is hearing this and just, oh my gosh, no, don't ever do another weight loss program. Get into addiction recovery. We have a very convenient online program, not expensive. So this is what I've spent 27 years doing, searching for a reliable method for people to get off and stay off processed foods.
And I'm so glad that you've been able to create that. Like, that research is crazy to me. It's mind-blowing that we are not taught that more in the professional world. And that there's just, well, I mean, you've said it in other things I've listened to where certain industries have all the money and there's just certain things that won't be said. So
Just so profitable. It's profitable not just to processed foods, but that's one shoe that's dropped. The other shoe that's dropped is the pharmaceutical industry. So they don't want to find a cure for this. They would rather sell a lifetime pharmaceutical for it.
right.
So the medical industry is not pushing back.
Mm-hmm.
The medical industry is, they're trained. Doctors are trained. This is not their fault, but they are trained that pharmaceuticals are the only answer. And I've had a doctor to my face say, nutrition is really fringe. It really doesn't have an impact, to my face.
Wow.
So just have hope. I want all your viewers also to have a tremendous amount of hope. Please have hope. There are many things to do for diseases that are, the medical services industry says if it's not curable by a pharmaceutical, it's not curable. That is not true. There are many ways to put not just diet-related diseases, but other diseases into remission. We have a new community. We've had the Addiction Reset community for 5 years, but we've just introduced, we're just testing out a new community, the Remission Optimistic Community, because over these 5 years of putting the food addiction into remission, we've noticed just this full range of other diseases going into remission. We said, dang, people need to know about this, and they need specific support for putting disease into remission. So that's very exciting.
That is really exciting. Knowing that you don't have to live with these symptoms, you're not stuck on medications for the rest of your life. There is a way to heal your body, and it's with food.
Mm-hmm. Food and stress and community.
Sure, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Ifland mentioned that she's been told nutrition is fringe and doesn't have an impact on apparently anything. And it used to infuriate me when doctors or smart sciencey people would act like pharmaceuticals are the only answer. But now I'm just dumbfounded that people that smart can be so brainwashed and so ignorant. And I kind of want to feel bad for them, except there has to be some level of willful ignorance, because I have a very hard time believing that there is a single medical professional in a first world country that does not know nutrition impacts health. I mean, how do they think we survive this long as a species if Big Pharma has the only answers? And one reason that it doesn't bother me anymore is because information is at the fingertips of anybody who wants it. And when people like Dr. Ifland speak up and have resources that release us from this medical matrix we're living in, there's hope. No matter what you're facing, there is always hope if you have an open mind, a resilient attitude, and a curiosity for the truth and what's possible. And of course, you're the only person who can change your life, no matter what resources or what connections you have. So as you're navigating this week, whenever you see an opportunity, take action, stay empowered, and remember that the food and medical industries don't have to determine your future. See you next week. Okay, now before you pop off, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the one episode that could change your life. And give us a 5-star review if you learned something new today. If you want to check out all the awesome free guides, templates, and resources I've given away on this podcast, go to theneurodietitian.com/resources. You can grab anything you want, but only if you'll do it. Because information without implementation is worthless. And here at The Empowered Edge, we're action takers, not excuse makers.